What up, guys? It's Fernando back with another video. Today we will be doing my Raw recap and review for the June 1st episode, the episode right after Clash in Italy. We had a very, again, another okay episode. We had some decent wrestling, but then again, with like the progression of storylines, just this episode didn't do really well of helping that of getting people hooked or getting any type of interest in them. So with that being said, um, let's get into it. We start the night off. We have Roman Reigns and the Usos in the acknowledgement ceremony. They come to the ring and they basically immediately call Jacob out to the ring, kind of like in a way disrespect him, tell him that he's late and all this stuff. And they call him out to the ring. Jacob comes to the ring, and he straight up says that he's been losing most of his life. He's taken losses throughout his entire life, and it's gotten him to where he is right now. And in the end, he just acknowledges Roman Reigns as his tribal chief, and he's taking shots at Jey Uso, saying that Jey Uso didn't beat him. So there's some kind of tension there. But in the end, all four end up throwing the ones up, and Jacob is now, I guess, a part of the bloodline. This just really, really rubs me the wrong way, because what WWE has done is they have protected Jacob and made him look like this animal that cannot be tamed, that he isn't aligned with anyone, and just one match and it's over. His power is just completely gone. It's going to be hard to take him seriously following that loss. And this showing here, him just straight up acknowledging Roman, it just wasn't a good look to me. So I think this is a boring play by WWE. I mean, obviously, there's many ways that this bloodline story could go with Jacob now in a bloodline. And I hope that this just leads to him eventually leaving or taking out Roman, Jay, or any of them, and this somehow imploding, because the whole thing with the Solo and the MFTs doesn't excite me whatsoever. It just doesn't. I don't care if they have a little bloodline civil war or bloodline war of who's the real bloodline. It just doesn't excite me. The only thing that excites me, or the excited me, was the idea of Jacob just running rampant and him doing whatever he wants, and him being the tribal chief, or him turning his back on Roman, which I'm not 100% sure that WWE is going to do. I just don't believe that they will do that. They want to keep Roman in this position, in this powerful position, for a long time to come. And it's just kind of a rinse and repeat of what they did back in 2022 with Jey Uso, and we're gonna get that same thing with Roman Reigns having all the power. And the only difference, I think, is that he is going to do this without cheating, without the help that he did when he was a heel. So I just not too much intrigue for me with Jacob fully acknowledging and falling in line with Roman Reigns here. But we'll see where WWE takes this, and hopefully they can get something going, because it's getting stale, and it's something we've seen before. And next we got into the Fatal 4-Way match between Obafemi, Penta, Carmelo Hayes, and Solo Sikoa. This match, it was pretty good. It was all right. Again, the aura of Oba just completely took over. The entrances are electric, with it being in Italy again. The match basically starts out Oba just taking them all out, and him and Solo are pretty much fighting outside the ring the entire match, which isn't my favorite type of Fatal 4-Way match. And Penta and Carmelo are going one-on-one inside the ring. So anyways, the wrestling between those two was really good. It was entertaining. It's a dream match that I eventually want to see later down the line. I'm 100% sure we're going to get this one day, but not anytime soon. But anyways, it leads to Talatanga and Solo taking out Obafemi on the outside. Solo gets back in the ring, kind of like a triple threat, and Oba eventually comes alive, absolutely destroys Talatanga, launches him through the announce table, goes in the ring and takes out everyone, and ends up pinning Solo Sikoa here, which obviously this is the right call. I mean, there was only one winner to this Fatal 4 match when these brackets got announced, which, by the way, are completely whack, in my opinion. But We knew Oba was going to win here, and it was a decently good match. Now, the real question is, how far are they going to take him? Is he going to get screwed over in this tournament? I'm not 100% sure, because this is a real easy way for him to get to the title. And and I forgot, after the match, he cut a short promo basically saying that Brock Lesnar, that he got his ass whooped, that Obo got his ass whooped, that he's still here. He took 7 F5s, he's still here, and he's winning, and that he's kicking ass. So and he said he'll see Brock Lesnar later down the line. So obviously that's gonna happen. And the real question is, how far, and will Oba Femi win this King of the Ring tournament? Next, we got a short segment by Sol Ruga. She basically just comes to the ring. She thanks the fans. Says that this has all been hard work, and that she is going to be a fighting Intercontinental champion. And I expected that. I mean, the WWE doesn't really like to make mid-card level feuds with people that aren't superstars. So they just resort to them being a fighting champion. But with it being Sol Ruca, I am excited for this idea, because she can just put on banger after banger after banger. Shout out Sheamus. In the mid-card title scene, and maybe they can throw her something and build a feud, but we'll see. Later on in the night, Lyra Valkyria challenged her to a title match. Sol accepted, so we might see that. That's going to be a really good match. So hopefully we can do something with there, but I'm excited to see where this goes. And next, we got just kind of an out-of-the-blue match. We had Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Rusev and Penta. It was a back-and-forth match. I mean, they kind of were working Dragon Lee for the most part. They were just waiting for that hot tag for Rey Mysterio. The Italy crowd was going insane. They had the hard camera shaking on some occasions. Even for the Sol Ruca segment, they had the crowd, the camera shaking. They had it shaking for when Rey Mysterio was going to get tagged in, and Rusev and Ethan Page did a great job of baiting the fans into thinking there's going to be a hot tag. There was one point where there was a stalemate in the ring, and Dragon Lee was going to go tag in Rey Mysterio, and Ethan came around the side, pulled Rey off the apron, and boy, he got booed out the building. But in the end, it ends with Rey Mysterio hitting a 619 on Ethan Page, and Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee picking up the win here. The decision I kind of questioned. I mean, I'm not the one for shenanigans. I know I complain about him, but I didn't really like Ethan Page taking the pin here. But because Rey Mysterio is going to be challenging Penta for the Intercontinental Championship, you kind of lean that way of Rey having to win and him not taking a pin or taking a loss here. But either way, it was another okay match. But I'm just glad I got to see my favorite wrestler actually pick up a victory here on Raw. And next we get another. This was a good backstage segment with LA Knight and Adam Pearce. He basically is crashing out at Adam Pearce, telling him that Adam Pearce is letting the Bloodline get it reunited, and that it's kind of his fault that all this is happening. That Roman's going to be in total control again, and he is just crashing out. And boy, LA Knight cut a promo and a half here. And this is why I don't understand why fucking WWE doesn't want to use him. I don't know what their infatuation or why they're so. They love LA Knight feuding with factions and him just going on and on and on and on and on and on, and him just losing in the end. I don't know why they love getting him involved and then they don't do anything with him. And it sucks because he's able to cut stuff like this and get people excited, get people amped up, and people are realizing, oh, this is a good promo. He's actually got, he's speaking the truth here, and then they don't do anything with it. So, I like the promo, but I just don't have no faith in WWE is going to do anything meaningful with LA Knight in the Bloodline besides have him get his ass kicked. And next we got the best match of the night. This was I think that this was the best match of the night because we had a smooth fatal four between Io Sky, Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Lash Legend for the Queen of the Ring tournament. And this was my favorite type of fatal four where all four women were involved, cohesively putting moves together. Occasionally the heels teaming up, taking out the baby faces, and vice versa. Them stabbing each other in the back, and just all four women doing moves at the same time. It ends with Lash Legend doing a double lash extension to Roxanne and Julia, only to get double stomped by Io Sky coming off the top rope, and Lash Legend rolls out the ring, and we have Io hit over the moonsault onto Julia for her picking up the win. And again, another great match. And another thing is, proves that why aren't we featuring these women on a more daily basis or weekly basis. It's just mind blows. It's just mind blowing that they don't feature him. And it's just annoying because they go out there and they put on a really good match. They had the This Is Awesome chance. But in the end, I'm happy that Io Sky advanced in the tournament. I mean, when I saw this match, it was another kind of predictable match. I mean, there were some other winners you could have had, but the overwhelming favorite was Io Sky and her being able to go all the way. But we'll see how far she goes because, honestly, you could put her in the main event title scene and all is well, all is good. Then we had another backstage segment with Liv Morgan and Judgment Day. She's basically saying that she's going to win the Queen of the Ring while Roxanne Perez just took a fat-ass L 2 minutes prior to, and so Roxanne was kind of salty and Liv was kind of like just not giving a fuck. She only cares about herself type of thing. So again, and same with Raquel Rodriguez, that Liv thought that she was going to be the one, even though Raquel's in the tournament. But anyways, this meant nothing to me. This is a storyline WWE just doesn't want to pay off. This is not going to pay off of this tension between the Judgment Day and Liv Morgan kind of acting like a tyrant, and this is something that just goes on and on and on and on and on in the backstage and never gets paid off. So yeah, I thought that was it's just starting to piss me off when WWE does shit like that. And then we get to the main event of the night, and that was Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker in a pretty good match. It got very good to the end. The beginning was slow. A normal kind of Bron Breakker match where he's just wearing down his opponent, and that being Seth Rollins. But it really picked up pace when they go to the outside. Bron Breakker runs, tries to do a spear off the table through the other announce table, and gets hit with a pedigree. They get thrown back into the ring. Seth hits him with another pedigree, and Bron kicks out. And now we got a match. They're just going to start. It's kind of turning into a finisher fest of them just doing their biggest hits back and forth. And eventually it leads to Austin Theory coming out and interrupting the match, which leads to Montez Ford coming out, taking out Austin Theory. And then Seth is able to hit, I forget what move, maybe a stomp. And he's going to go pin Bron Breakker, which Paul Heyman takes Bron Breakker's leg, puts it on the bottom rope, and almost had a fucking B-Fab incident where he missed the leg, but he was able to get it there. And then Seth Rollins goes out to the outside and basically gets in Paul Heyman's face, threatening him, and Bron Breakker comes running around the ring and tries to spear Seth Rollins, who gets out the way and pulls Paul Heyman, and Bron Breakker ends up spearing Paul Heyman through the barricade, which I thought was funny. That was great. But anyways, he gets back into the match, or back into the ring, and Seth is able to pick up the win with a stomp. Now, here's the interesting part. This match seemed like the end of a feud type of match. And it kind of sucks because with all the bad luck that's happened to the division and them all getting injured and whatnot, the commentators really said, oh, this was a great match. It was end to a great show. And it was long enough where it felt like it was brutal enough for it to be the last match of this rivalry. And with the King of the Ring tournament looming around the corner and the finals coming up here soon in a few weeks, that gives an out for them to have Seth Rollins go on and do something else. That gives them an out to have Bron Breakker go on to do something else, even though he just lost. And with all, like I said, the injuries and everything, this has completely just lost steam because it's, in my opinion, it's really hurt the stock of Bron Breakker here because now he's a tag team champ with Austin Theory, which kind of really didn't make any type of sense, and they just threw him into that scene, and that completely eliminates him from being in the main event scene. And now with seems like the feud being over, you could throw Seth Rollins into the tournament, have him win it, have him go far, and build a feud up that way. It's just is really confusing because I don't know where you go from here. Like I said, I didn't do a good job of giving us answers for Bron Breakker. It seems like he's really leveled down, and it sucks because with the injury to Seth Rollins back in October, he was thrown into the deep end. And right now, it just seems like with all the injuries to the division and to himself, he's just lost so much steam, and it's really, really affected him. And I don't know how they can possibly build him back up, especially with the tag team champ, him being a tag team champion. And it's just a real confusing time for them and for Seth Rollins. So we'll see. I feel like WWE's gonna realize that they've got an issue here, and they're gonna spin it all up and hopefully abort the mission, and find something else. But like I said, overall, this it was a decent show. It was an okay show, but I didn't really get too many answers that I wanted, and it just seemed like WWE's been real stagnant lately. Post Mania, Backlash was pretty good, but these last few just haven't done a good job storyline wise, getting people hooked, getting people super interested, and I'm hoping that come in the middle of June or the beginning of July, that they really start digging their teeth into something and really start building these storylines for SummerSlam, because right now it is it's kind of struggling, and these shows have been real plain. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll be back Friday for the SmackDown recap and review. And for UFC, we got some good UFC coming up in the summer. That we can't deny there'll be some great UFC coming up here in the summer. So stay tuned for everything I got. I'm gonna stay uploading on a weekly basis, and I'll see you all on the next one. Have a good one.